Hey guys, what's going on? It's JCWgamer here, and today I've got some quite some out of the blue shocking news actually. And this is about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the official one from Blumhouse Studios. Scott Cawthon put on the Five Nights at Freddy's Reddit some news about the FNaF movie. He's literally talked about in some pretty decent detail every single screenplay for this movie. So every single one I'm about to go through is legit and was generally discussed about to be used for this first movie. I say first movie, there might be more. Anyway, let's get into this, right? Because right at the end of this, there's some exciting news. It's titled, right, Bad News for the FNaF Movie, with a sad face, and the tag is a sad face. So this is what Scott has to say. Hi everyone. Before we get into the bad news concerning the state of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, I wanted to share a brief history of the FNaF screenplay. It's been a long road, so let's take a look at some of the screenplays that have come and gone over the years, in no particular order. In brackets, or feel free to skip to the end really quick to see the bad news and then come back and enjoy the list. Now, we're going to start from top to bottom, which will lead us eventually to the bad news, which isn't actually really bad. Okay, spoilers, plot twist. I'm not. Okay, let's continue. Some of these came from big studios, some from big directors, some from me, and some from other hired writers. I gave the screenplays a name, and I'll include a brief synopsis as well as what ultimately led to each screenplay being rejected. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, the F screenplay. Basic setup, group of teenage troublemakers break into Freddy's. Chaos ensues. Problems, although a pretty basic setup, there were a lot of odd choices here, which only got weirder as the story continued. The story ended up with our protagonist in a secret underground animatronic factory that was designing robots for the government. Verdict? WT, naughty language, strayed way too far from source material. To us. It sounds like this location, but they're making animatronics for the government. This isn't a good idea. Now, we all know the government's very big. FNaF, right? The stuff that happens in the FNaF lore is very quiet. Police know and stuff, but the events with the animatronics, the backstory behind them is very secretive, right? I know the animatronics in this idea here was being designed for the government, which was probably going to be very secretive as well, hidden from the people. So my verdict for this is 1, why on earth would the government need these? 2, it's a bit too much for a first FNaF movie. And 3, it doesn't fit FNaF at all, in my opinion. Look, I know they want a film that is for people that have probably never even played FNaF in their lives. So like, if you know the FNaF story and you want to watch this film with your family who has no idea of FNaF, this would be great for them to watch. But for FNaF fans, this is also 50% of the target audience. So seeing this, we're just going to be like, right, what's the lore behind this? Although it probably would be put into the actual lore, it just sounds like another Fazbear Fright story, which is good, by the way, but like for the official first Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it doesn't fit. Like Scott said, tossed. Next, the Plushies Take Manhattan screenplay. Right, for a start, we've already got Gremlins. We don't need a Gremlins spin-off, which in this case replaces the Gremlins with plushies, alright? Honestly, I feel like this would just play out like the Gremlins movies. And the basic setup for this is the Plushies Take Manhattan. Problems, Plushies Took Manhattan. Verdict, burned with fire. That's a good idea, Scott. That was a very good idea. I hope you're the one who burned it with fire, not them. Can you imagine like a plushie, I don't know, jump scared someone and killed them, like they do to you in FNaF VR, and the Five Nights at Freddy's PNG red title comes up in big on the screen in the cinemas? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Once again, not for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It is a good idea. No, is it? Make Gremlins free. Come on, when's Gremlins free? Been waiting for it for over like, how many years now? Yeah, I'm not good at maths, I don't even know at this point. And you'd have to go through all the lore, like how the plushies are alive. Like, no, it's actually ridiculous, it's plushies. And how do the animatronics take part in this? I can 100% confirm Scott did not come up with that screenplay. So all I can say to this one is just leave it out. Okay, next, a random Charlie screenplay. Okay, so I don't think this one would be too bad because I love oh, actually, hang on, let me just read this again. Basic setup, Charlie and friends sneak into Freddy's after hours to retrieve a lost toy. Problems, after sharing names of familiar characters from the series, that's what I was going to say. These characters had nothing to do with their game and book counterparts, so while featuring familiar elements of the games, it seemed too loosely based on the game and lost a lot of its impact because of it. Verdict, felt like a random bag of FNaF elements with no real stakes. Meh. Then there's a kid in the Silver Eyes, right? The book, the first book in the novel series with Charlie. His name's called Mike, and obviously you've got Mike Afton as well, who are 2 different people. That's irrelevant. This would be cool because I love the books, like I said, but now I just realised, yeah, this is a new character, Charlie. It could be a boy for this movie. Even if you change the name, I think the plot, it's not as great because, like Scott said, it does feel like a random bag of FNaF elements with no real stakes. But he hasn't gone into it with too much detail, but as what he's seen of it himself, he's just telling us right now with the verdict, it felt like a a random bag of FNaF elements with no real stakes. This could be used at the start before the titles come up, like, I don't know, a character sneaks into Freddy's after hours and then tries to get a lost toy, dies, or gets stuffed in the suit, whatever, and then boom, that starts up the movie, but Next, the Silver Ice Screenplay. Now, I would actually love this because the books, I can just picture him in the movie. Right, basic setup. Kira and I both worked on 3 versions. So Kira is the female who worked with Scott on the books. Not Fazbear Frights, just Charlie's trilogy. The Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, the Fourth Closet. So Kira and I both worked on 3 versions of the Silver Eyes Screenplay over the course of about a year, trying to find the right approach to the story from the first book. Problems! These were the first attempts I made myself to write a screenplay after realising it was going to be difficult to find someone else who understood the lore well enough to do it. Unfortunately, it also meant these screenplays suffered greatly from my inexperience at writing. Even Kira, with her writing expertise, couldn't save them. Verdict: although these had some good elements, I ultimately decided to focus on making a screenplay from the games and not the books. Yeah, touche. I mean, fair enough. I would have loved to see like a movie on each book though. That would be incredible. Focusing on the games, even though the laws are like connected, but the books are like completely different from the games. So I understand why it was doing the games. Most people have obviously played the games and not read the books, which you should, by the way. If you haven't read the books, they are really good. They are amazing. And I don't read, by the way. Like, that's the first one I actually got into read. Oh, it's just so good. Next one, the pawn shop screenplay. So the basic setup, right, is a kid who watches after a pawn shop finds trouble when an animatronic is brought in. It turns out Freddy's had been robbed and the animatronics were taken to different locations for sale. The other animatronics come to retrieve the one at the pawn shop and the kid and his friends get roped into adventure. Problems: a creative approach but felt a little too much like a boy and his animatronic. Too much after school adventure, not enough horror. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Although the Sonic movie was good, right? But you know with Sonic, it just felt like the Smurfs movie or something. Or Garfield. Or Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's the human man who looks after like the character. Like, you got the sheriff who's looking after Sonic pretty much the whole time. You got the guy from the Smurfs looking after the Smurfs. You got the guy looking after Garfield. Yeah, I see. Yeah, don't do that. I want a great FNaF movie, which fans of the games will love and fans who have not played the game will love, and something which could lead to an exciting sequel if it ever does happen. Because I think originally he's hoping to get a trilogy out for these FNaF movies. Next, the Cassidy Screenplay. Basic setup, diving deep. This screenplay packed in a lot of lore. Following the story of Cassidy. Problems: spanning multiple time periods, following multiple characters, and featuring lore from multiple games. This was pretty saturated to a fault. It may have been satisfying to the most hardcore fans, but it would have left the majority of people confused and lost. Hey wait, maybe this was the most accurate screenplay. Verdict: ultimately more of a visual encyclopedia than a movie. This just wasn't satisfying, even to me. Out. Yeah, I mean, you could have made a movie which was like for the hardcore fans, but get more into the fan base. People who watch this film might get into the games as well, which makes the community even bigger, which will bring hype to the AAA game he's making, which will come out soon in the future. And I think a lot of people are going to watch this movie as well, especially how like Security Breach was on that PS5 live event. I mean, that's already bringing new people in as well who thought the game series was dead. I mean, it feels like that obviously because the last game was Ultimate Custom Night, which wasn't really focused on story, and also it literally came out 2 years ago, I feel like. Oh, by the way guys, Cassidy is Golden Freddy apparently, so yeah, you learn that in the games somehow, Easter eggs and stuff, so yeah, I guess it'd be the story behind Cassidy who becomes Golden Freddy. But like Scott said, doesn't belong in the FNaF movie. It's heavily with FNaF lore, so it could be, but obviously it needs to be for new people as well because it's a movie. Next up, the Misfit Kids Screenplay. Right, okay, the basic setup is a single mum who brings her kid to a new town. The kid finds Freddy's, hilarity ensues. Problems: one of the problems in creating a modern day story with an old Freddy's setting is finding a way to connect the protagonist to the restaurant, finding a reason for them to be there, and finding a reason for them to stay. The problem here was the reason for this kid to go to Freddy's and have misadventures was too contrived and too forced. Verdict: not a bad setup, but it just didn't work. If I don't care about the characters, then there's a good chance no one else will either. Pass. In brackets, this was going to be the screenplay for a while, but because it didn't have any serious flaws, I ultimately just decided it wasn't good enough there. So this time, this sounds like a good plot for new people, but for FNaF fans who are watching this movie, once again, probably 50%, probably even 60% who's watching this movie, it just isn't for them. We've never even heard of his characters. It's more exciting for characters we've heard about in the series. For new people, you can do characters that FNaF fans already know. because they're learning about them as well. Because either way, if it's characters we hear about, all of us as a community, it's going to be when we first ever meet them and how they get into whatever situation they're going to be getting. And like for Cassidy, it's going to show everyone and how she becomes Golden Freddy. Because we don't even know what Cassidy looks like. So yeah, she's not even in any of the books, I don't believe. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. This story sounds a lot like Freddy'S 1, you know, the time-traveling bull pit. What's it called? Oh yeah, Into the Pit. Next up, the Ghost Trackers Screenplay. Basic setup, a group of amateur ghost trackers sticking to the abandoned Freddy's. Problems, although a very common sense setup for this sort of movie, the problem again arose about how to give these characters a connection to Freddy's itself. What ended up happening was too much of the story went to their own backstories and their own hardships. And it took the spotlight away from the story of Freddy's. Verdict, a stronger connection between protagonists and Freddy's was needed, lesson learned. That would fill up a lot of the movie of these characters that we've never even met before, showing us their backstories. That would just fill up a lot of the movie. I mean, a lot of horror movies do that. I want this movie to succeed so we can have sequels. Next up, guys, the Insane Screenplay. Basic setup, another Ghost Tracker variation. This one involved the Funtime animatronics, underground ball pit tunnels, and a marionette out for revenge. Problems, as some other screenplays ventured too far into adventure, this one went too far into action. Verdict, too all over the place with too many characters doing too many things. We don't need another Ghostbusters movie, do we? I mean, I would say this story sounds a bit too, like, supernatural, but then again, like, the books are very supernatural, I feel like. Especially Fazbear Frights. If the marionette's gonna be in it, does that mean, like, Charlie's gonna be in it? I don't know. The Funtime animatronics, the animatronics from Sister Location, why would they be in them? Like, especially for the first movie. I hope they put all of the animatronics in the first movie, actually. I feel like it'd be too much, though. All 50 animatronics from Ultimate Custom Night in the first movie. Funtime animatronics with the normal animatronics, it just seems like, I don't know, it sounds a bit too much, but it would be sick. This story, once again, is too much for newcomers, and I think, once again, it could be actually alright for FNaF hardcore fans. But the Ghost Tracker, though. Anyway, last, but certainly not least, I see why you left this for last. The Mike Screenplay, so Michael Afton. Basic setup, this makes sense. Why didn't I think of this before? Problems. Actually, this is a good mix. It has the best pieces from all the previous screenplays. Not really any problems there. All the right characters, all the right motivations, all the right stakes. Verdict. Yeah, we're going for this one. It's fun, it's scary, and it has a great central story. Alright, also on to the bad news. The bad news is that there won't be any more screenplays to add to this list, since we're officially making the Mike Screenplay. Yeah, he wasn't joking about this verdict, he's generally going for it. Okay, and at the bottom says filming starts in spring. So guys, we've got the plot for the FNaF movie. Oh, I can get it out for Halloween 2022, that'd be so sick. See, like most horror movies I feel like are not scary. Please make this scary. But again, if you're gonna make it scary, you have to make it at least a 15. Oh, I don't know. Right, so the story's about Michael Afton. He's quite a dark character. I mean, the games, they're not really violent. They don't shoot much of the backstory. I feel like the backstory to FNaF is definitely for a mature audience, but the game themselves are like decent enough for like kids. It's at 12. It used to be like a 7, I swear. But anyway, it's a 12. The movie, I feel like it's going to be a 12A. Wait, it's from Blumhouse Studios. Do they make 12A movies, or are they all 15? I don't know. Michael Afton, the son of William Afton, the purple guy. So are we going to see William Afton in this? It depends what the plot, like when the plot is set. I mean, if it's going to be linked to the actual lore in the games, it's going to be canon, this would be lit. Do you play as Michael Afton? No, you play as him in Sister Location, and I think he's the brother of the kid you're playing as in FNaF 4, Michael Afton is. You know, the one with the foxy mask? I think that's Michael. Bro, we might actually see the Funtime animatronics in this movie then. It just says the Mike Screenplay. It might start off with him when he's younger, and we'll see. Maybe the cutscene from FNaF 4 when he's scaring his brother. That will start it off. We might see the house. We might see William Afton at the start, and then Mike grows up. Will we see Sister Location, what happened in the game, and then it's actually put into a movie. There's gonna be so many Easter eggs in this movie, I swear down. We might see the killings of William Afton. Is he going to be dressed up in purple? I reckon like he might be alive at the start, and then when the titles come up, it's going to be that time skip like a year later or however long after, and then he'll already be dead. Might see Springtrap. Might see the Bite of 83, the Bite of 87. Depends when it's set. I guess it's going to be set in the 80s, right? So filming's probably going to start in like March. Spring is like March, April, May, so it could start in any of them 3 months. Hopefully it starts in March because then we'll get the film earlier. A lot of YouTubers like FNaF, Dorko, and I think Matt Pat from Game Theory, he's been talking to Jason Blum, I think. And I think Jason Blum agreed to be in a Game Theory video in the future, so Matt Pat could be in it. But like, I wouldn't mind like small little cameos. I don't really want YouTubers in the movie because I want it to be all like professional. I've seen Dorko do William Afton cosplay that's pretty sick. He could be Glitchtrap, he's got that mask. Oh no, because that Glitchtrap story, well, the second arc of FNaF is set in the future, isn't it? Then again, FNaF 3, Springtrap, that's set in like 2033, so he might not even be in it. He's probably still alive. I hope we see all the like original 5 murders. I know it sounds a bit like dark from me, but it'd be sick, literally. It'd be cool, but like personally I prefer like to leave YouTubers out of it. Oh Jet, you're just jealous because you won't get picked. Well, no, I've got my business email in my description, so Scott can just email me and say, yeah, Jet, you want to be in the movie, mate? I'll be like, yeah, sure, go on then, mate. But either way, I'm really excited for this. I'm glad this is a screenplay that's being used, Michael Afton, because I was a bit scared that it would be brand new characters and stuff. I wouldn't have minded a Silver Ice Screenplay, honestly, and then that would definitely lead to the sequel, The Twisted Ones, and then the last sequel, the fourth closet. We're gonna have Michael Afton as the protagonist. It sounds like, oh man. And apparently this is gonna be in the cinemas. Well, obviously it's gonna be from Blumhouse Studios. They do big movies. They do Insidious and stuff, and that is actually scary. To be fair, like, I say horror movies ain't scary. Yeah, that does creep me out. Tiptoe through the window. Same universe as Annabelle, isn't it? Am I thinking of Conjuring? I don't even know. It's because it's got that one actor, the man in it, like the dad. He's in The Conjuring and Insidious. Yeah, it doesn't help. Anyway, it might seem like it's quite far away, but do not fear. We've got FNaF Security Breach coming out literally next year, early 2021, like not even long, probably just a few more months now, honestly. So plot twist, Scott Cawthon named this post on Reddit bad news about the FNaF movie. There's no bad news, it's good news. I told you it was exciting near the end. So guys, I'm gonna leave this post in the description below so you can read it for yourself. There's quite a bit here because there's a lot of different screenplays. I did this with Security Breach. I predicted the release date. I feel like it's gonna be, so I'll say it again, I think it's gonna come out on March the 12th, 2021, and I think I'm gonna make one for the movie. Let's go for, I'm not gonna go for March again. Let's go for July. That's early, right? I mean, probably mid, if anything. But I'm going to go for July the 28th, 2022. That's the release date for the FNaF movie. Don't even know what day that is. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy it and you are excited, don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you're new around here, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on a few of these screenplays and which one interests you the most, apart from the Mike screenplay, because that's the one we're getting. And that's going to be it. Have an amazing morning / afternoon / evening / night. I need to stop keeping this up. It's just such a long outro. Well, I've done this to myself, just made it a thing now. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.